Good luck, producer. Hello, everyone. I am Brian Bartlett. I am with the Williamson County Democrat Party, and we are here for Pride is for Everyone. This is our Pride Facebook Live event where we will be talking to Robert, Ginny, and Emmy, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and the respectable organizations they are with. And I'll start with Robert. Robert, please introduce yourself and tell people why you're here.
Hi, I'm Robert McNamara. I am chairperson of the Franklin Pride Committee, and I'm here to just let people know who we are and what we're about.
Thank you. And Jenny, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everyone the organization you're with as well?
Sure. I'm Jenny Bailey. I'm president of P-Flag Franklin, and we are the largest grassroots organization for LGBTQ people, their family, friends, and allies. And Franklin Pride is an outreach project of P-Flag Franklin. So Robert is on our board and chairman of that committee.
Awesome.
Hi, Robert.
Hey.
So you two know each other well.
We do.
Yeah.
And Emmy, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everyone what organization you're with?
Absolutely. My name is Emmy Kanawati, and I am the vice president on the board of directors for Nashville Launchpad. We're a street-free sleep initiative for unhoused youth in Nashville, and we aim to be affirming to LGBTQ youth, 18 to 24-year-olds specifically.
Excellent. As you can see, we have three representatives of three fantastic organizations, and let's get started. I'm going to start with Jenny. Jenny, I'm going to ask you some questions and hopefully give us some good answers. So if people are asking if they have a loved one being gay or coming out, is that loved one going through a phase?
Well, that is a question that a lot of parents will ask when they first come to one of our support meetings. For a lot of parents, it's a big adjustment to go from having your regular kid to having, a kid who's in a minority. That's different from you as a straight parent. So that's a very frequently asked question, and we can assure the parent that if the child is asking the question, they would not have asked if it were something that they hadn't thought about for a very long time. No kid wants to be different. Every kid wants to be just like their peers and exactly what their parents dream for them to be, there may be one or two kids who's just, gonna do their own thing no matter what. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's a frequently asked question. And generally, if the child has come to you to talk to you about it, it's definitely not a phase.
And the question is, why are they choosing this? Whatever they choose, gay, lesbian, queer, transgender, why are they choosing this?
Well, and that's another question parents often ask us because they've been taught that being LGBTQ is a lifestyle choice. And again, just like with going through a phase, a kid, nobody wants to be different. If they could possibly be what everybody wants them to be, they would be. So it's not a choice. Just like if I were to say, hey, Brian, do you want chocolate pie or would you rather have chocolate cake? You would tell me, what would you tell me?
Chocolate cake.
Okay, so now that is a choice. But to be straight or gay is or transgender or non-binary or even straight is not a choice. Just the way having blue eyes or brown eyes is not a choice. Now you can change your hair color pretty easily, but you can't change your height, and you can't change who you fall in love with or who you feel like you are in your gender identity.
Excellent. So when parents come and they want to ask the question, is it okay that my child is LGBTQ plus? Is that okay?
Well, of course. I mean, people like parents will say, absolutely, it is. I'll speak for myself, but I've heard a lot of other people say it. Having a gay kid opened my life up to some amazing people that I would never have met otherwise, like Robert, for example. And so I think where you might be surprised or worried about what the future looks like for your child, PFLAG also offers you an opportunity to come talk to other parents and say, I was where you were X number of years ago, and I can tell you that it gets better. You both get comfortable with the new identity, even though it's not new to the kid, it's new to the parent. And yeah, life is great because the child is so much happier being who they actually are and knowing that their parents love them no matter what other people might have said their parents might do. The single most important thing for any kid, straight or gay or whatever, is for their parents to support them and love them. So that's why PFLAG is there to support parents. So they'll support their kids. So they won't have to reach out to Launchpad.
Support is what we
We
need.
wish we weren't needed.
Well, that's right. That's exactly right.
Right. But thank God you're there. Thank God you're there for them. Yeah. So in today's society, with all the social media and all the things we have going on, people want to say there's a lot more LGBTQ plus individuals out there today. Is that true?
There is evidence that LGBTQ people have been part of the human species since there were humans. We've all, they've been here among us, hiding in plain sight all this time. There's stories from ancient Greek mythology. There's stories from ancient translations, the ancient Hebrew versions of the Bible, the Old Testament. There's stories all throughout European history, American history, Chinese history, Indian history. It's not a new thing. It's just newly visible because of media and because, well, I guess people like organizations like PFLAG have said, heck yeah, we're going to support our kids. Go, you be you. And we're going to celebrate that. And so Hollywood has, had a good time with that. And we've loved it, haven't we? I mean, how awesome
Yeah.
can it be? But no, being gay is not a new thing.
Do you see social media and Hollywood have normalized it and have really pushed it out to be more acceptable in our society? Do you see that's helping kids come out?
I think so. I think that when celebrities come out, it gives a lot of people courage to say, look, here's a person who's in a position of, where people admire them and ask their opinion. They are important. They have a good life. Nobody is upset when they come into their living room via the television set. I'm thinking specifically of Anderson Cooper when he came out. I was just so grateful. Like, thank you, because you're somebody who is so admired in the world. And I think it does make a big difference. I'm thrilled about Pete Buttigieg being our Secretary of Transportation. And when he ran for president, when he was revealing how smart he is and how much of a patriot he is, having been a veteran, served in the armed forces, and served as a mayor of a good, complicated city like South Bend. All of these things make it easier for everybody to be who they are, and also give parents and people who may not think they know someone who's LGBTQ, they actually do. They just don't know it.
It's true.
Give those people a chance to say, oh, yeah, I know who that person is. I've been able to watch them for years, and I admire them for one reason or another, and their private life is not going to be a deal breaker for me in continuing to support them.
Excellent. And those people you spoke are great pioneers for not just parents and kids and whoever need to come out, and we applaud them, and they do give the courage that is needed, and that helps.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
And so we've been talking for about 10 minutes, and you gave some great answers and some great questions to the answers to the questions. So tell us a little bit more about PFLAG.
PFLAG got its start in 1973 when Jean Munford decided that she was tired of the police knocking on her door and telling her that her son Morty was gay, and she said, "Yep, he's gay, and you just need to stop bothering him." And when there was one of the very first ideas of a pride parade in New York City, she walked in it. The St. Patrick's Parade, is that right, Robert? Christopher Street, on Christopher Street. Anyway,
Yeah.
she carried a sign that said, "Parents unite in support of your gay kids." And that's all she did. And suddenly parents were calling her from all over the country. And fast forward to today, we have 400 chapters in the country, 200,000 plus members, and active in the community, holding monthly support meetings. PFLAG Franklin is currently holding 2 monthly support meetings, one on the second Monday of the month and one on the fourth Monday of the month. We meet in downtown Franklin on the second Monday, and once we can meet in person, we will be finding a place in Spring Hill or possibly northern Murray County, because so many people have come to us from Murray County and Lawrence County and places south of the big city of Nashville and Franklin. So we're wanting to be available for those people whose resources aren't quite as, robust, I guess, as, for instance, in Nashville. PFLAG has been in Nashville since 1980, and they're a wonderful big chapter with lots and lots of great resources. So we're happy to be among one of 7 chapters in Tennessee.
Excellent. And if people want to reach out to the organization, what's the best way for them to reach out?
We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
We also have an email account. It's pflagfranklin@gmail.com.
Great. And the Facebook page, that's PFLAG Franklin?
That's right.
Excellent. Well, thank you. We appreciate your answers and the time you spent with us. And anybody have any questions? Great. If anyone's got any questions, we can see them in the side chat there. I don't see any questions, so that means you did fantastic.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to move on to Mr. Robert. Robert, please give us the lowdown. Tell us about Franklin Pride.
Franklin Pride is a day of celebration for the LGBTQ plus community, their friends, family, and allies. This is a day that we can come together with like-minded individuals for a day of celebration, to celebrate who we are as individuals, also to celebrate who we are as a family. Bring, our family, show what our family makeup is. This is a day that we'll do that with music and dance and food, perhaps a glass of wine. That's not required. It's a family-friendly event, and it'll be all afternoon. It also serves as a day of visibility for the greater community, so that the community can see who we are, that we are individuals that are deserving of love and respect, and that we are friends and neighbors and coworkers all across the spectrum, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, family members. Jenny spoke earlier about sometimes it can be a struggle to be who we are, and it shouldn't have to be. We are individuals that, like I said, that we deserve love and respect as everyone else. It's a struggle for a lot of people to come to that point, to come out. And so everyone that comes to Pride It's a joyful moment, but a lot of times it takes courage to get there. It takes courage to be who you are, to come out to your coworkers and face discrimination and this sort of thing. So that's what it's about. It's not all about singing and dancing. That's it, and celebrating, but it's also just for us to be who we are and to celebrate what it took to get there.
Remind us, what is the date again?
The date is Saturday, July 31st.
And that is this year. We're going to have it. It's
This
going
year
on.
at Harlansdale Farm, the park at Harlansdale Farm. It's very close proximity to downtown Franklin.
Great. That's fantastic. If people want to get involved or if they want to sign up, where do they go? What's the best avenue for them to reach out to?
The best avenue to reach out to us, if you want to be a supporter or whatever, we have a website, which is www.franklinpridetn.com. You can reach us there. We also have an email, which is franklinpridetn@yahoo.com.
Great. And we'll have someone put them in the chat room on the side for P-Flag, the connection, as well as what Robert just said, those two websites. That'd be great. Mm-hmm. So, Robert, what's your favorite thing about being involved with Franklin Pride?
Oh, I think meeting the wonderful people that I've come to know through PFLAG has just been a wonderful organization. My husband and I moved out here, not really knowing anybody in the Franklin community. We went to PFLAG and met Ginny Bailey and the rest of it's just a wonderful, wonderful family. And it's just been extremely heartwarming to be part of that.
Great. That's great. Have any recommendations on where to stand for the Pride Parade?
In Harlansdale Park.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So there really officially is not a parade. Yeah, the festival is confined to Harlansdale Park, and so this first year, this is our inaugural event. We want to get it off the ground. And then as room to grow, and possibly have a parade at a future time. But we'll definitely have a big festival. We've got a stage for live music. There'll be some storytelling. There'll be food trucks. There'll be a food court. So it'll be a full-on festival. It's just not a parade.
Well, we'll make a little parade out of it.
Well, we can parade around the park, around the barn, whatever.
Flags, and we'll
exactly. Yeah.
We'll do this. Do it up.
That's right. We can do it. That's right. We can do whatever we want.
Thank you, Robert, and thank you for telling us about the Pride Festival, and we look forward to going. That is July 31st.
That is correct.
Great. Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Emmy, how are you?
Hanging in there, just like everybody else.
You having a good day? Good. So you are with Launchpad. Please give us a little background on Launchpad and tell us about it.
So Launchpad got formed about 6 years ago. Oasis Center, which is a nonprofit that operates here in Nashville, they used to run a youth shelter, but they lost their funding. Okay. And there was nowhere else really for youth to go who were finding themselves homeless. So with a lot of hard work and scrappy folks who were volunteering for Oasis at the time, decided to form Launchpad. And so for a very long time, it's a grassroots organization. It was all volunteer run.
It's a grassroots organization.
Oh, get a little feedback. Oh, that's what you sound like, by the way.
All I heard is squeaking.
Well, that's nice on you.
Oh, you're getting it.
Is that okay? So this is going to be very distracting. So we got formed, like I said, we're the only youth serving a homeless shelter in Nashville that specifically caters to 18 to 24-year-olds. This has been identified as a particularly at-risk population because they're at 18, as you probably know, they phase out of a lot of services that are offered to minors. And so oftentimes they'll find themselves homeless. It's also when parents are no longer legally responsible for their children. So that's oftentimes when, if there's been a conflict, whether it's about their sexual orientation or gender identity or not, they decide to part ways. So that's kind of how Launchpad came to be. We started out with congregate shelters, meaning we were sheltering youth in partnership with mostly United Methodist churches around town, who are great partners in letting us use their spaces. But just like everybody, COVID hit, and we realized that that was not a safe situation for our guests or our volunteers. And so we had to very quickly turn our model into a hotel model. And in fact, we're probably the first to do it in town. So we kind of, we were pioneers. Not a good situation, but we're glad we did it. And really thanks to the generous donations from our donors and also from the community, we were able to raise enough money to be able to pay for the hotels for the end of our last season. We generally tend to run only in the winter season.
Okay.
But our goal really is to be able to go year round. We are currently running a motel model right now.
Okay.
And one of the advantages of that is that the youth have someplace to be during the day, and also know it's a lot more consistent. They're coming back to the same place. They can leave, belongings and stuff safely housed in a hotel, but it's ungodly expensive. So it's really, we want to look for a much more sustainable model going forward.
It's an absolutely wonderful cause, and it's a thing the community can get behind. Do you see in the future moving more towards the organization out of the hotel or the motel situation, maybe buying a more permanent housing solution?
Yeah, that's our goal. As you all probably know, raising funds for buildings and capital campaigns and, finding our own space permanently is obviously really expensive. So it's definitely in our long-term strategic plan, because we know it's a better way to serve the youth. There's no question. We knew that even before, but in 2019, we got a grant from the Gannett Foundation of $100,000. We were one of 3 recipients around the country. I think that's correct. And that was really exciting. It was a total game changer for us. It allowed us to be able to hire an executive director and a staff person to help the youth. And so it's really, it's just put us in a very different position, and we're hoping to grow that so that we can serve youth better.
If people want to donate or get involved or volunteer, how can they reach out to you? How can they really make an impact?
Yeah. So our website, NashvilleLaunchpad.com. There is a launchpad that is a working space, a shared working space in East Nashville, but that's not us.
Okay. Don't go to that one.
Been an issue, yeah. But yeah, NashvilleLaunchpad.com, and you can donate there for sure. Right now, we used to have 5 to 7 volunteers a night, and we used to have great folks from PFLAG and GLSEN. Pride boards around town were always great supporters and volunteers as well. But due to COVID, and making sure that everyone's safe, and the new motel model just don't make it really easy to have volunteers in that way. The main volunteer opportunity right now would be to offer dinners. We feed our guests dinner every night. So that would be great if somebody feels like they can cook for 16 to 20 people and deliver dinner one evening. That would be the most useful. We also have a Amazon wish list that you can get to through our website.
Great.
Because we know that as an organization, we know that it's not enough just to have housing. So our youth oftentimes need, they got a job. Most of the youth who stay with us are actually working, and so they need new clothes for a new job. That's expensive, right? So sometimes we're able to help out with those kinds of needs as well.
Do you take clothing donations?
Very specific ones. As I'm sure you all know and have had experience, when you say we take clothes donations, it's like a barrage.
Right.
But sometimes we have very specific needs. Like a lot of our guests work in restaurants, so a lot of no slip shoes are really useful. Black slacks and stuff like that. But we really need them like specifically to them. So if somebody wanted to call and say like, are there any specific clothing needs, and they might be able to fulfill those, that would be great and helpful.
Now, is that on the Amazon wish list, or is there a list people can add?
No, at that point, you just, there's a part on our website that says volunteer. And if you just click that, it'll send an email to our volunteer coordinator. And that would be how to do it.
Fantastic. And you mentioned 16 to 20 youths. Is that what you're able to accommodate right now?
Yeah, that's what our budget can accommodate right now. The one advantage of the hotels also is that there are some couples. So we're able to, in one room, 2 people can stay, whereas before we tended to not really be able to do more than 24 folks. So sometimes we have more guests. We've also been able to help some mothers with babies, with children, which was really not something that we were equipped to do with before. So it's, there's been some silver linings to having to shift to and pivot to this model.
Great. It's an absolutely phenomenal cause. We really need to support the youth that are out there having a hard time, that really reach that age where they get lost. They really don't. They no longer have the support of their parents 100%, and they need to know where to go. And it's a safe environment that they can go to and stay at and be loved and cared for. It's fantastic.
Yeah, one of the really, I think one of the really important things to think about with youth is, or one of the things that some of our youth have said to us is like, when they would go to a different shelter, because at the time we started out 3 nights a week, then we went to 5, try and extend it to 6. So they had to go elsewhere sometimes. And so there were congregate shelters that had adults in them. And one of our youth said to us, the fact is, when I go to Launchpad, I feel like I have a future because I'm with other young people. Whereas going to a shelter that really has mixed ages makes it feel like that's going to be their lives for the rest of their lives. And so they express feeling a lot more hopeless in that way. So it really is a special age. It's a special, it's a special group of people that you can work. Not everybody can work with youth. So it really is a specialized population that way.
And it's wonderful. It gives them that safe environment where they can really grow and just be
Right.
sheltered. It's a different kind of shelter. It's nice.
Yeah.
So if anyone has any questions, I want to remind you, you can put them on the text on the side, and our experts here can definitely reach. Someone has a question. How can someone be an advocate and an ally every day? And I'm going to open that up for everyone. Jenny, go ahead.
I'll jump in. A great way to be an ally every day is to, when you hear, like, say, for instance, you're at work and you hear a coworker making a comment that not supportive of LGBTQ, if you could just say, I've got a different perspective on that. Would you like to talk about it? And just make people think before they think about what they're saying. Because as we've learned, words really matter.
And words can hurt. And they stay with, especially the youth, they stay with the youth
Yeah.
forever. It really can cause damage. Robert, how can they be an advocate and ally every day and for Franklin Pride?
Well, for Frank, Jenny took my answer. Really, just love and defend treat everybody with respect, no matter who you are, no matter what you look like. Even if you don't understand, I hear a lot of people say, with pronouns, I don't understand pronouns. I don't understand non-binary. There's a lot of things I don't understand.
Yeah.
You really don't have to understand them. What you should do is respect that person as being a human being and give them the love they deserve for being who they are. And that's the easiest way, is just respect.
There are times when saying hello, don't say that was rude, or you're not, standing up. It takes a lot of courage on the part.
Yes.
This is not necessarily, there's a lot of pressure in some places to fit in and to be, a certain way. And there's some people who are, how do I say this? Because words matter. There's some people who are just so unfamiliar. It's not part of their day to day. They've been taught a certain thing. They're probably old like me, and they're not watching the new shows, or they don't think they know someone, and they're just afraid, particularly if they've gotten a message from someone that is an authority figure in their life, like their pastor or their boss or their parent, who said, "We don't act like that." Well, okay, that's fine for you, but as Robert was saying, that old saying, "Love your neighbor as yourself," is the best way to be an ally in all situations, not just LGBTQ, but especially LGBTQ. And one comment I was going to say real quick, we've had phone calls from people whose parents have decided, as the child has come out, and the parents have said, "Well, you can't live here anymore." And it's an amazing thing that, in the case that I'm thinking of, this kid was valedictorian at his high school and had been the perfect child until suddenly, oops, now he's gay. And that's the moment when those parents, I wish they would reach out to PFLAG and let us help them work through, whatever their anxieties are, their worries, I know it feels discombobulating if you've got this mindset that my kid has this future that I have planned all out for them. They're going to do X, Y, and Z, and suddenly, no, my kid wants to do J, K, and L, or maybe P and W. So,
or LGBT.
Anyway, I just wanted to say that because or LGBT or Q, or I or A. But it's not necessarily a certain social economic group that might come and find Emmy or us. It's not a particular race, although all of us on this here tonight are white. It's definitely in every race, black and brown and all the colors. So I think that's the other part that we forget sometimes, is that we're all in this ship together, and we sink or swim together. We would help each other by being respectful and being an ally. Awesome question.
I would like to add, advocating for policies, talking to representatives, talking to schools about how they're being inclusive and affirming goes a really long way. And so we have to support the policy side as well. Because that's how unfortunately sometimes the laws and policies have to change before people actually change their behavior. We know even then that that's not always the case. Certainly, we know that along issues of racial equity, but it takes all of it in order to create real change.
Takes a community for sure.
That's an excellent point. And to that point, a group that is not here is TEP, the Tennessee Equality Project. And if you log into their website, they are very helpful if you would like to call on track the different legislative issues that are harmful to all people. And so that's a good way to track that and to know who and when to call.
Excellent. So as we are winding down, I just want to go over one more time that we have been here from PFLAG, and to reach out to PFLAG and Franklin, it's pflagfranklin@gmail.com. Reach out, any questions. Don't let our youth suffer. Don't abandon them. Reach out and get the resources and the help. And we have Robert with Franklin Pride. Franklin Pride event is going to be July 31st, correct?
That is correct.
This year, we're having it this year. We're getting together. We're partying.
That's
We're
right.
not going to have a parade, but we're going to have a little bit of parade because we're going to be parading around having fun. And
We're
reach
planning
out
to
to
give out masks so everybody will feel super comfortable.
Yes.
yes, they're going to be saying glammed up masks too. I bet at that event they're going to be really bedazzled and really nice.
We'll have to work on that, Robert.
Yeah. Need a bigger sponsor for that one.
Yeah.
Swarovski crystal ones. That'd be nice. And that's Franklin Pride TN at yahoo.com. And then we have Emmy with Launchpad, our youth shelter that's protecting our youth from 18 to 24 that need support, that have lost their support and lost that sense of stability that they need. And please reach out and help them, and you can. And they are at NashvilleLaunchpad.com. You can volunteer, you can donate, you can make a difference in these kids' lives, and that's what we're asking for. I am Brian Bartlett. I am with the Williamson County Democrat Party. I am just a volunteer. This is something near and dear to my heart. I thank all of you for watching and everything. Clear your minds, free your voice, and open your hearts to everyone. We're all on this together. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks, our guests.
Thank
Great
you.
job, everyone.